our nation are imposing new restrictions as infection rates are increasing and record numbers of people are being hospitalized. I know that we're all tired of the virus and definitely over the year 2020. The numbers and rates and the news about infections are occurring at such a fast pace that, we're starting to go numb. I don't want this community to forget that each positive test, each hospitalization, each death is someone's mother or son, father or daughter, aunt, uncle, grandmother, or grandchild. Sometimes it seems that it is only happening on television and we don't think it can happen to us and we get tired. We start to drop our guard and lose our attention and don't maintain social distancing or stop washing our hands properly or wearing a mask. The medical professionals and Governor Cuomo have clearly informed us of the heightened concerns that we are in control of our own destiny. Rochester, by doing the right thing months ago, have been able to flatten the curve and keep our hospitalization rates at low levels. And I know that we can do it again. I want to thank Dr. Mendoza and his team for leading us through this as the county's Board of Health. I'm asking you not to lower your guard now and to be even more vigilant. Now more than ever, it is time to protect our circles. I know that the holidays are coming. Thanksgiving is next week. And this year, for the first time that I can remember, I won't be sitting around the table with a host of family and friends. My mom, my sister, my nephews, my aunts and uncles. This year, it will be me, my husband, and my daughter. We're making a decision to forego our traditional family gathering where hundreds of our family members come together, all in hopes that we will have many Thanksgivings in the future with the people that we love. A sacrifice today can lead to abundance later. I've already told you that I've lost an uncle to the virus, and I have a family member right now who's in the hospital and has been in the hospital for over a month, fighting for their life and currently on a ventilator. Just as this virus has hit my family, I know that it has touched your family. I want to thank all of our essential workers for their hard work, day in and day out. I know that it has been traumatizing to you, and I believe that help is on the way with the vaccine coming in the near future. But until then, we, and I do mean we, have to protect our circles. To that end, in response to the rising COVID numbers and the health experts' belief that COVID numbers will rise significantly because of family gatherings over the holidays, we're making changes to the city's operations. Starting on Monday, November 23rd, the city offices will continue to open at 9 a.m., but we will close at 2 p.m. for deep cleaning. In addition, I've asked that staffing levels be reduced in our buildings to 25% in any given area to ensure proper social distancing and to protect our employees and the public. Staff not in City Hall will continue to work remotely. The self-service drop boxes will continue to be available from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. so that our customers can submit their permit applications or payments. And I'd also like to remind people not to leave cash in our drop boxes. We understand that there remains the potential for additional actions to be directed by the governor at any point in time, and we will follow them. But right now, we also want to be proactive as this holiday season approaches. At this time, I'm also encouraging the use of our vast array of online services that can be found on the city's website. We welcome you to City Hall during our operational hours. Please know that you will be required to wear a mask, have your temperature screened, and adhere to social distancing guidelines. You must enter the building at the link entrance on Fitzhugh Street. Additionally, there will be temporary changes to the operating hours of city libraries, neighborhood service centers, the city clerk's office, and other city offices. Those changes are available on our website at www.cityofrochester.gov or call 311. In addition to changes in hours and staffing at City Hall, our real rapid response team, led by Dr. Cephas Archie, in conjunction with our governmental and community partners, will soon release an initiative to encourage everyone and every person in our region to have their own individual preparedness plan, COVID individual preparedness plan. However, we're asking our employees and encouraging you, while you're at the Thanksgiving dinner table, to start thinking about the following, given the number of new cases and the community spread that's happening right here in our community. Ask yourself and your loved ones these questions. Know this is something that my husband and I have gone over. If I contract the virus, where will I quarantine? If I'm at home, in which room? How can I keep loved ones in my home safe as I recover? Which bathroom will I use? Do we have the proper disinfectant to clean? How will our bills get paid in the meantime? And who will watch the children if one of us ends up sick and in bed? You need to make those arrangements now. How will I receive meals? Does my family or someone close to me know where my insurance cards are? And do my family members have my doctor's name and number? If you live by yourself, who's your emergency contact? A more detailed everyone needs a plan questionnaire will be released soon, but we're encouraging our employees and each of you to start having this discussion with your family members right now. And what better place to do it than when you're enjoying each other's company on a Zoom on Thanksgiving Day. Be assured that the City Hall team is here to help you. We want you to continue to be smart, continue to wear your mask, continue social distancing, and continue to protect your circles. We are hopeful that we are going to make it through this and keep our numbers as low as possible, but we also believe that we need to be prepared in case of an emergency. Now, I will take any questions that you may have on topic.
Thanks, Mayor. We'll start with Tyler Brown from Channel 13. Tyler.
Good afternoon, Mayor. My question is, like, early on when the pandemic started, the city was very proactive in trying to enforce more social distancing, from taking down, especially at parks, taking down basketball hoops, things of that nature. If our number of cases doesn't continue to go down, and if things get worse in terms of the number of COVID positive cases, will we be seeing that same sort of enforcement again at parks, in particular at the new skate park that was just opened up? We're seeing a lot of people, some wearing masks, some not.
So as you can recall, the governor had released executive orders ordering certain procedures and policies that the city was responsible for making sure, especially when it came down to parks and other places. At this point in time, that has not been included in an executive order, and we will comply with those executive orders as they come out. As I said, and at this is regarding our city operations, and if there's additional information that comes from Governor Cuomo, we definitely will be proactive in making sure that we follow those guidelines.
Tyler, thanks. You had a follow-up about evictions?
Yes. So the governor has mentioned several times that he was very clear. He mentioned that nobody should be evicted during this time, during the pandemic. What is the city doing is the city going to be involved in helping people who are facing eviction, in particular tenants during the pandemic struggling?
So as it pertains to the court system, as you all know, the court system is a different branch of government. You have the executive branch, you have the legislative branch, and you have the judicial system. At this point in time, the judicial system is in control of evictions and in control of if someone is evicted or not. We have worked diligently and very hard with not only our court system, but our advocates in the community to do several things. The first thing was we started a COVID court. Our neighborhood and business development team, with our CARES Act dollars, was able to partner with many not-for-profits, especially Catholic Family Center, to be able to provide back rental assistance for those that have been affected by COVID. To date, I believe we have provided over $800,000 in assistance, and I think there's been over 3,000 applicants, and we still have several $1 million that they're working through right now to get into the community, to get into landlords so that people can avoid eviction. We have also provided for and provided funding to our local not-for-profit legal service agencies to make sure that every person that is going to the court for an eviction has an attorney, so that when they go into the courtroom, they will have an advocate for them that is provided for by funds through our CARES Act dollars. And my understanding is that has been happening, and we will continue to work collectively with our community and our advocates around the many issues that are coming up regarding evictions. Right now, I know that evictions have been lifted for predated, meaning predate to the COVID situation. So if you were in the queue, in my understanding, this is the way I understand it, if you were in the queue prior to the pandemic to be evicted, then you are not, those evictions have been lifted and you can be taken to court and go before the judge. But the good thing now is even those individuals will have a legal representative to be there for them. And that legal representative were provided by the city of Rochester through the CARES Act funding.
Tyler, thank you. Just so for everyone's benefit, we'll be sending out a release that has information about how people can access our rental assistance services that the city's already put in place, and we'll share that with you after the presser. With that, I'd like to move over to Randy Gorman at XXI for a question on topic. Randy?
Yeah, I think I'm good for now. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Randy. Next, we'll move on to Patty Singer. Patty from Minority Reporter.
Hi, thank you. You mentioned neighborhood service centers. What about our centers, skating rink, things like that? Anything that recreation is so important now for people to get out and have an outlet. What's happening with those facilities?
So at this point in time, they are continuing to be operational. The one thing that we do know is our libraries, the hours will be changing because of the need to do additional deep cleaning and make sure that our employees in our libraries as well as our patrons are safe. And so you will see a change there. We are making sure that we deep clean all of our art centers and recreation centers as well. But because we are now in the yellow zone, if we were to go to the orange zone, you would see some things differently, but that will be dictated by the governor and we will comply with that at this point in time. So because we're in yellow, parks have not, and recreation has not changed. But if it does, we will definitely comply with those rules and regulations.
But you're not going to do anything proactively on that like you're doing it at City Hall. You're going to wait for the governor to make those decisions about recreation.
So the proactive things that we're doing is to make sure that we're deep cleaning. We do know that our children are not in school, that they are out in the community. We don't want to limit their access to recreation. So our goal here is to make sure that our recreation centers are deep cleaned and that we provide the sanitary and the PPE and other things that we need for our employees to be safe. If we were to move to a higher zone, that will cause us to probably go back to just doing food distribution only. At this point in time, our centers, many of them are also being utilized to actually help our children with school. So we want to make sure that we are also being a resource for the community and not limiting our children's ability to have access to those resources.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Patty. Next, we'll move over to Andrew Freeman at Spectrum. Andrew?
Hi, Mayor. I hope your family member is in the hospital right now, pulls through and does well. I guess my question for you would be how these numbers might be impacting things like, I know several months ago, the holiday village was canceled, but there's the skating rink and that kind of thing. Are those kind of plans going to be put on hold maybe because of this?
So as it pertains to recreation activities, As I said before, if we were to move to a higher zone, and that zone is dictated by the executive branch, the governor's office, then those activities probably will be limited. We have not received word as of yet that those activities are to be shut down. And so we will continue to allow people to utilize our parks. We have not taken down the basketball courts and other things like that. It's, going to start to get cold outside. And so that's going to be another factor in this. And so we are going to follow those guidelines as outlined by the governor's office.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor. Is there anybody on the line from Channel 10 that would like to ask a question? Seeing none, moving on to Channel 8.
My understanding is that was given to the county sheriff's office, and I believe that the sheriff's office has already responded to that. And so we are going to encourage our residents to understand that we are still in the pandemic. Our numbers are rising. We're asking, and it has not just me, but all of the health officials and, the governor's office as well have reiterated, Dr. Mendoza, that this Thanksgiving should be different for all of us, that if you can do Thanksgiving with just you and your immediate family and your household, we encourage you to do that. We encourage you to continue to utilize PPE, meaning, your mask, wash your hands and all of that. If you cannot and you have to gather, please limit the number of people that you have over to your home. If you're preparing food, please have one person actually be the person that fixes the dinner, that serves the plates and all of that, so that you're not passing the spoons from person to person. This is going to be a different time for everyone. We do know that many people, Thanksgiving is a time when you invite people into your home, people that don't have anywhere to go, people that may be from out of town. And this is going to be a difficult time for people to close their doors. But given what we're seeing and the knowledge that these smaller in-home gatherings are driving some of these numbers up, we want to be as proactive as possible. We know that for us as the city, with our employees and what's happening here at City Hall, we want to be as proactive to preserve the workforce. We're getting ready to go into winter season. We have people out picking up leaves. We have people that will have to be out here plowing snow, and our employees are essential workers, our police officers, our firefighters. And so we want to be as safe as possible and have a position where our employees are able to not only serve our residents, but also go home safely to their families.
Mayor, the next question will be from Brian Sharp.
Yeah, I was just you mentioned firefighters, and as you were talking, I was curious, how do you handle social distancing, masking, all of these, different things? And I don't know if they're impacted in different ways by these changes, but how do you handle that in a firehouse?
So we're doing deep cleaning in our firehouses. We are encouraging our firefighters to wear masks when they are in the firehouse next to one another, when they are in a common area and not able to social distance. We are under the guidelines of Dr. Cushman, who's the city's assigned Department of Health official. And so we have been working with him for the last year to provide us the guidance that we need on making sure not only our firefighters, but also the police department as well as 911 are, as safe as possible during this time. And so we have outlined guidelines, and we have provided the proper PPE for everyone, in hand sanitizer as well in those places. And we continue to do deep cleaning, several times a week to ensure that our employees in those places are kept as safe as possible.
And just,
Brian, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, just one other thing. You had talked about evictions before, and I was curious, did I understand from your answer that I think the Albany mayor has issued as part of an executive order a moratorium on evictions. Is it your understanding though that you don't have that authority, or?
So according to our law department, and this is something that I know that he's researching extensively, Albany County has, the city of Albany has a housing court that is set out in the city's charter. We do not have that here in Rochester. We don't have a housing court. It will be something that we would have to get from the state legislature. They would have to set that out in state law. And then we would have to have that in our city charter to give me the authority to be able to put a moratorium. Therefore, when the governor issues a moratorium or the chief judge issues a moratorium on evictions, that's who our housing court or our city court complies with. And so my understanding is that the chief judge lifted the moratorium on pre-COVID evictions, and that is what you're seeing right now. If you were affected by unemployment during COVID, then those evictions are still stayed. And so what you're seeing right now is pre-COVID evictions, and the judges in our city court are under the leadership of the chief judge when it comes to that matter. And I do not have the ability to issue a moratorium on that. Now, my city attorney is taking a deeper look at that, but that from preliminary review, that is what his assessment is.
Thank you, Mayor. Next question is Kevin from RBJ.
Yeah, I'm just curious, have you heard from businesses just very concerned that if the area ends up going orange, what that's going to do to them, and how concerned are you of that?
Yes, we have been talking to our businesses, and we of course are very concerned with anything that is going to already hurt businesses, especially our restaurants. We are in the process of working, our Jumpstarting the WROC team has shifted to how do we maintain, how do we help our businesses. As you know, our MBD office have provided over 600 grants to businesses to keep them in business during this time, utilizing our CARES dollars to have the money on the ground. We have, and we are issuing a second round of support for our senior citizens, where we partner with restaurants to be able to provide them with much needed dollars as they provide meals to our seniors. That second round is coming up, where we provided in the first round 14 restaurants with $14,000 a piece to provide meals to our seniors. We are going to restart that in the coming weeks to help. We are also looking at other ways to have outside dining in the wintertime, working with our fire department and our DES partners and surveying our restaurants. But we're going to do everything that we can to help our restaurants and help our businesses get through this trying time. But we know that we're going to have to comply with whatever orders are coming down from above. And we plan on doing that and trying to keep everyone safe as possible.
Mayor, thank you. Our last question is from Dave at the City Newspaper. Dave?
Hi, Mayor. I just wanted to circle back to the personal COVID plan initiative you mentioned a few minutes ago. When do you envision that being rolled out? What would it look like? And how do you plan to get the word out?
So that would be something that I know that our Real Rapid Response team is working with our community partners, including the County of Monroe, the Black Physicians Network, and others, to prepare that. Hopefully we'll be able to have something within, if not early part of next week, the week after that, that will be rolled out in partnership with all of them to provide people with what questions, where to go if they need support, but to really encourage each and every person to start having these discussions with your family members, with your loved one, because at any point in time, any person in your family can be impacted, from your child to your wife, your husband, your parent. And so start asking these questions so that you are prepared. But our hope is to, within, if not the early part of next week, the following week, be able to release something jointly with our community partners.
And thank you. Just to follow up, Pfizer recently, I think it was this morning or yesterday, my days are all mixed up like all of us, said that it has a vaccine that it believes is 95% effective. I think there was another company that mentioned 93 or 94% effective rate. If the vaccine were available, would you take it, Mayor?
Would I take it? Well, I would take it if I was in the risk pool population that needed it first. I think that we have to be very, we have to be very cautious that the people that need it first get it and then go from there. So if I'm one of those people that are deemed an essential person, then I would get it, because I think that it is very important that we lead by example. At this point in time, we want people to be as safe as possible, but we also want the people that need it the most to be able to receive it first. And if that's our senior citizens, I want our senior citizens to have it. If that's our children, I want our children to have it. And then I can wait.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. That's the conclusion of our press conference. Appreciate your time, Mayor Warren. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone have a happy Thanksgiving.